Good afternoon, everyone. This is Vincent Isom. I'm the director of the 21st Century Scholars Program at Indiana University, Bloomington. Welcome to the 21st Century Scholars Summer Learning Institute. This event is sponsored by the Indiana University 21st Century Scholars Program, the Community and School Partnership Program, and the Indiana Commission for Higher Education. This program was designed to provide a precursor to the entry into your freshman year to prepare you with some transitional skills and information, as well as some academic course builders. So at this point, I'd like to turn it over to Julia Jennings.
Thank you, Vince. Good afternoon, everybody. As Vince said, I'm Julia Jennings. I'm Director of Community and School Partnerships, and we are so glad to have you joining us this afternoon. Want to do a little bit of a recap of some of the things we talked about last week, and then we'll get started with today's presentation. So last week we had guests from the Career Development Center at IU. Pat Donahue came and spoke to us about discussing or designing your future career and what that could look like, and those opportunities that you can take advantage of as an IU student from day one to really start thinking about your career path and what your values, interests, skills are, and how those will really help you with your academic journey as well as developing that future career path. We also heard from my colleague Jim Melikar on exploring on-campus employment through the role of student ambassadors. So hopefully you, if you were able to join us, you had an opportunity to see what it's like to be a student ambassador and how you can apply those skills and experiences that you already have to helping future prospective students understand their options and career paths for higher ed and beyond. Today, we're going to be developing skills for choosing a college mentor and creating a good relationship with those mentors through your undergraduate career, and then building that network further on. So I'm going to introduce you to our guest today and his team, and then I'll let him take it away. So today we have joining us from the Faculty and Staff for Student Excellence Mentoring Program, or the FASE Mentoring Program, we have the Executive Director, Patrick Smith, and his team of FASE mentors. So Patrick, without further ado.
Thank you very much, Julia. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Patrick Smith, and I am the Executive Director of Mentoring Services and Leadership Development, also Director of the FASE Mentoring Program. Welcome to our program for this afternoon, and I'm just going to do a couple of logistical things before I turn it over to my peer mentors. I just need to get our slides set up. Apologize about for the technical difficulty there.
While you're doing that, I did realize that I forgot to let everybody know that this is an interactive conversation. So if you have questions throughout or comments that you want to share during the presentation, you're welcome to unmute yourself to ask those, or put those questions into the chat feature. So please don't hesitate to let us know what questions or comments you want to share, and we'll be pausing opportunities to take some polls and ask some questions. So look forward to the conversation.
Thank you very much, Julia. Okay, so again, this is the Faculty and Staff for Student Excellence Mentoring Program, or FASE for short, developing skills for choosing a college mentor and creating a good relationship. And I just want to say congratulations to all of you for selecting Indiana University. We look forward to seeing you in the fall semester. And I just want to thank also Julia and Vince and all their team for allowing us to be able to come and virtually give you a presentation and an introduction to the FASE mentoring program this day. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And before we do, I just want to take this time to read the Indiana University Bloomington Land Acknowledgement Statement. And this is in honor of our indigenous population for whose lands that we are currently operating on. So it says, Indiana University wishes to acknowledge and honor the indigenous communities native to this region and recognize that Indiana University Bloomington was built on indigenous homelands and resources. We recognize the Miami, Delaware, Potawatomi, and Shawnee people as past, present, and future caretakers of this land. And so this is who I am. And we're going to go over to our peer mentors who's going to explain the agenda, what's going to take place during this presentation. And I'm going to turn it over to them. And before I do, I just want to say that FASE mentoring program emphasizes or places great emphasis upon leadership development. So I'm very happy to have some of our outstanding and some of the best peer mentors within the organization. They're going to have a great time introducing to you what FASE is, what it's about, its benefits. And so I'm going to turn it over to our first speaker. I'll just let the mentors go ahead and introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, my name is Tatiana Peters. I'm a junior studying law and public policy, and this is my second year being a peer mentor. And being a part of FASE, it has been the best decision I've made thus far being in college.
Hello guys, my name is Anuj Garg and I'm currently a junior as well. This would be my second year working with FASE, and I've really enjoyed this opportunity provided by Mr. Smith to me, and this is one of the most fun job and one of the most impactful jobs someone could have on campus. So yeah.
Hello everyone, my name is Jocelyn Hernandez. I am going to be a senior, and this is going to be my second year with the FASE program. And so far, they summed it up as well. They summed it up good as well. It's FASE has been an amazing experience so far. It's given me so much, given me so much more than I thought learning through IU's campus, and just this opportunity is really great to give it back to it as well.
Hello everyone, I'm Olivia. I am actually a graduate senior, and I've been with FASE for 2.5 years, and it was for sure one of the best experiences and opportunities I've had here at IU. And I would do it all over again and start my freshman year if I could.
Awesome. First of all, congratulations for joining IU and being a part of 21st Century Scholars Program. Discussion topics for today will be what will you experience being a part of FASE. Then we will go on to providing you with the overview and background of FASE. Next up, we have a reflective exercise. So this would be like very interactive, and it would be centered around who your favorite 5 is. Next, we would be having how can you create good relationships with people in college. Lastly, we want to keep this presentation as interactive as possible. So please feel free to communicate via the chat feature or just by unmuting yourself, as Julia mentioned before. Also, throughout the presentation, we will be showing images of students in leadership who have worked with FASE and have demonstrated some great leadership skills throughout. Also, like you, many of FASE mentors are also 21st century scholars. So we look into you scholars becoming also future mentors for our program. Okay, so Mr. Smith, okay. Next, what are the objectives for today? So we would like to acclimate you guys with the FASE mentoring program and what it is like to have a mentor on college. We will be focusing on your roles as a mentee and how you can make good relations with your mentor. Lastly, we want you to know how you could personally grow within the FASE community and learn about the leadership skills and just be part of FASE. Next, so what is MSLD? MSLD stands for the Mentoring Service and Leadership Development within OVP DEMA, and you might be knowing OVP DEMA, under which 21st Century Scholars is also part of, and there's FASE and Hudson Island Group Scholars Program that all comes under OVP DEMA. Under MSLD, we also have some other programs, such as the main one being FASE, but other programs such as MAP, FAB, something you will be learning more as we progress into the presentation. The main objective and goals of MSLD is to promote diversity, equality, along with personal, academic, and professional excellence. MSLD does so through events featuring professors, professionals, along with conducting seminars and conferences. So next, who are we? FASE, you might be hearing that often by now already. So FASE stands for Faculty and Staff for Student Excellence, but it's a program that revolves around linking freshmen, who we like to call our protege, with upperclassmen like us, who will be your mentors, and we provide one-to-one mentoring throughout your freshman year to enhance your experience. The objective of mentors is to help you successfully transition from high school atmosphere to a university setup, which is a lot bigger, like being an IU, and there are often things you want to know but are not sure. So that's where role of mentors come in, and they help you guide through your freshman year. Mentors not only provide academic help in telling you resources, but they also are there to listen to your problems, help you make correct decisions in life, and help you grow as a better professional. Last. Oh, so these are a few charts we wanted to show you guys. So the first one being the number of proteges, the percentage of proteges, and the percentage of peer mentors. We have last year we recruited about 392 proteges, and we had about 29 mentors. And you would be surprised to know we have peer mentors who come from different background, different countries. I'm from India, and we have people from different majors altogether, ranging from STEM majors to business to media school to chemistry. Anything you want to know more on and want to explore and want to just talk to somebody of that background, you would have a peer mentor who could help you out, or at least tell you the correct person to talk to. The next chart, if you see, would show you a percentage of the number of protege and their programs which they're part of. So we have 21st Century occupying about 62% of our proteges, which is more than 200 students if you think about it. And that's how much we value our 21st Century students, and we almost all of them have mentors, and they have a good experience with their mentors. A lot of you would be also group scholars, which is another good program, and we also have mentor proteges from Hudson and Holland Scholars Program. And there are many of our mentors who were earlier 21st Century Scholars, and now they are also mentors for our organization. Next. Okay. That's it.
Okay, so we're gonna be doing our reflection activity. So who's your fave five? So this is meant to be very interactive, as mentioned before, so feel free to come in if you have any questions or comments. So what are my goals? So during your freshman year or during your time at IU, it's great to first identify like what are your main goals to accomplish while on campus, or even after IU, and you have to identify especially what are going to be your main goals during your freshman year. So that can be different things such as like setting a good GPA, maybe joining a club or two for extracurricular activities, maybe some professional development, which you can definitely accomplish with FASE. Maybe you want to do some volunteering. It will look good on your resume and just overall great for your persona, and maybe just do some new experiences. So for example, going back to my freshman year, I knew one of my top goals was to stay on top of my academics and to also just create like an overall be a well-rounded student. So also be on top of my academics, but also letting myself join a few clubs now and then, just making sure like I'm not overstressing myself, focusing on one thing and distracting or limiting myself to another. So does anyone want to share like what they possibly have a goal, or do any of the fellow mentors want to share like what were their things for freshman year?
Yeah, freshman year, I came into college and I just wanted to definitely experience college itself as a new experience. And I just wanted to have like the full potential of college and join new clubs. And it was very overwhelming. But having those connections to kind of help you center your gaze helps a lot. So the every fall and spring, they have like a huge club event where like all these clubs set up their tents or their little tables, and you go around and you talk to different club members. That was really helpful, and that helped me kind of feel more at peace of like the chaos of freshman year.
Mercedes, you raised your hand. Did you want to share?
Okay, sorry, I don't know how Zoom works, but back to the last slide. What does professional development mean? I'm kind of stupid sometimes.
Professional development can mean like internships, if you want to do that, practice your resume, or not practice your resume, but like there's a career center where from your experience in high school, they can help you set like word and organize your resume for potential internships that you're looking for like the next summer, etc.
Also, what's a good GPA to shoot for in your first semester year? Like above a 3 or above a 2.8 or something like that?
I come from a STEM major, human biology, so it also all depends. However, there's not like a set GPA, but sometimes freshman year it can be hard because it's transition, and sometimes you don't get the GPA you aim for. But it's good to keep in mind that even if your freshman year GPA is not that best, you have 3 more years of growth, and if you can show that through increasing your GPA over time, when you further your education or go to your next job and they see that, like what happened freshman year, you just kind of go and like, oh, freshman year was hard, I didn't really grasp everything, but then I got the hang of it and learned how to study or learned how to manage my time better. So I would say there isn't really a like determined GPA. I would achieve to do what you think is a really good GPA, what you want to achieve as your goal. And if you don't reach it, I would not freak out. I would like reiterate, okay, I have 3 more years to show my growth. I don't know if does that answer your question?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
It did.
Yeah,
I could also take that question. So I was a pre-business student. So to get into the Kelly School of Business, I had a set GPA I had to score to get into business school. So that was 3.5 for me. So at least that was one of my goals, to get into business school. So I prioritized my GPA at least getting more than 3.5. But then different schools require different GPA. So you might want to, like, if you are a university division student, you might want to keep that minimum requirement GPA if you want to get into a particular school at IU.
What's university division? I got an email for it, but I don't know what it is. Does anyone know what university division is?
Yeah, I can answer that question. So university division is basically where you're placed before you're declared into a school. So kind of how Nuj was saying, how he's in the Kelly School of Business, or there's a College of Arts and Sciences, or like I'm a SPIA student, which is now known as O'Neill, or there's a School of Education. So basically that's just where most freshmen are until they are declared into their school based off their major. And
Oh,
usually
so
there's an application process. At least
so it's
I
like the opposite of it's the opposite of like a direct admit.
I wouldn't say it's I guess similar to not being a direct admit, but it's nothing to like look down upon. Like most people end up, besides Kelly students, honestly, most people end up in university division their freshman year, and then by like your second semester, or even potentially by your first semester of your sophomore year, you'll end up in your declared school, depending on your major.
Okay, but this is also a dumb question. But so I want to double major in psychology and history. What department in history in? Isn't it called the arts and sciences?
I'm not a history major, but I believe it's in the humanities. I'm not quite sure though. So if anyone else is more familiar with a history major.
So does that mean I have to be admitted into 2 different schools?
No.
Mercedes, are you saying you want a double major or major in, okay. Actually, it's a good question that I don't know the answer to, but we'll find out. I think you just have to be admitted into one, but I could be incorrect. So we'll find that answer out for you.
Okay, thank you so much.
No
I
problem.
think that's all I have for now. Sorry.
Mercedes, I would also say, this is Mr. Smith, I would also say, when you get to campus, you talk with your 21st Century Scholar advisor, and they'll be able to help you with all those questions. So your first year, the first semester, your first year, your freshman year, if it ends up being an exploratory year for you, that's perfectly okay, because you have a great set of academic advisors within the 21st Century Scholars Program. They're all competent, they're sharp, and they'll be able to guide you very, very well.
Okay. Are the advisors going to be there, because I have to move in early because I'm taking the IFS class? I'm moving on the 9th. Does that mean the advisors will be there by then?
They'll be in contact with you when it's time for you to meet with them. So I would not be overly concerned with that. The IFS program is a great program also. So you may or may not have opportunity to interact with your 21st Century Scholar advisor because you're going to be really busy with IFS activities anyway. So they will be in contact with you, the 21st Century Scholars Program, when it's time for you to have a meeting or appointment with them.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I think that's all I have for now. Sorry.
Mercedes, I also found out that if you want to major in history, it's in the College of Arts and Science.
Okay, so they're both in the same college?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mute.
Okay, so Mr. Smith, can you go to the next slide, please? You can hear me. All right. So what do you value? We want to say like goals and values play hand in hand and are really based off each other. So values are like, what do you hold most important to you and can affect how you live and how you work in everyday situations. So we just want to say like, remember like what you, like what I said, what you value can strongly influence your choices in your everyday lives and for your choices in your future related to your career or personal self. So that can be everything from like education, choosing where you go to school, which you always chose IU, your personal growth, your mentors, money, peer relationship status, all of that stuff.
Okay, so this is another engaging opportunity. So we want everyone to go to your cell phone and go to your contact list or go to your messages to see who are the top 10 people in your contact list. Who are people that you're talking to on an everyday basis or every other day. So look at your FaceTime history. Who are people you're talking to very often? So your top 10 people. Mentors included. Okay, Mr. Smith, you can go to the next one. Okay, so who made the cut? So from these 10 people, we want you to take a minute or two to scale those 10 people down to your fave 5. So who are the top 5 most influential people in your life that you're allowing to speak into your life? And it's really important to this activity is actually really important to build up your support system as you're transitioning to college or being a first year college student. It's important to recognize who you're allowing to influence in your life. And if, how Jasmine was talking about earlier, if they're going to be able to be people who are going to support your goals and your values. All right, next slide, please. All right, so who is in your fave 5? You see here, let's just say this is my fave 5, Anna, Nick, Chris, Jen, and Pam. Let's say that this could represent, maybe Anna could be my mom, Nick is my mentor, Pam's my sister, Chris is my best friend, you know, so people who are really close to you that are able to take in what am I trying to say? Take into account when you aren't being yourself, or when you aren't chasing after the goals and visions that you've set for yourself. People are going to be able to hold you accountable and further your goals and dreams and visions. Next slide, please. So do we have the polling question for this slide?
No, didn't work out.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so I wanted to ask you guys, so who made your top 5? Is your top 5 list predominantly friends? Are they family? Are they mentors? The IU faculty that you're going into the 21st century program? If you want to unmute yourselves or text in the chat, or mentors who are in your top 5.
Does my PCS workers count as my top 5?
Top 5 can be absolutely anybody.
Okay. Well, first, mine would be my foster mom, and then my therapist, my boyfriend, my best friend, whose name's Ariana, my case manager, and my foster sister, Shanti. Yeah, that's 5 people, I think.
Awesome. And Mercedes, do you think like these people, they know you really well to see if, okay, like you say, okay, I have these goals and these visions for my freshman year of college, that they'll be able to talk to you, whether that's depending on your schedule or your relationship, like maybe like once a week or once every 2 weeks, to just check in with you, to be able to say like, hey, how are these goals going? Like, have you been able to follow through on them? Or how's your vision going? That is something really important to have, that strong support system. Or for anybody else, what are some other things people said in the chat? Family, yes, family is so key. Friends, coworkers, definitely. I know my freshman year, I was like, I was calling my mom all the time, every time something happened. Mom, can you believe it? Da, 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 da. And she would humble me real quick and just like, hey, like, these are new experiences, you know. Just having her accountability, but also support was really helpful, just because sometimes, you know, transitioning from high school to college can be scary at times, and having people in your life that can ease some fears or any anxiety is really helpful. I want to continue on to the next slide, please. All right.
Okay, so how does the people you surround yourself affect your choices? And as we've been speaking on, your choices really divvy into your goals and your values that we just spoke upon. And they can impact your success in whatever goals you want to achieve. For instance, we just labeled some very common fields like your academics, your careers, income, personal preference, quality of life. Like these field can be affected by the people that you surround yourself with.
And then going off that, so we're gonna say who to connect with to help me reach my goals. So what we just talked about of like surrounding yourself with individuals who are gonna help you reach those goals, and overall for your success in the future is tying those with the what resources, you can see them as resources, but what additional resources besides them can you use to help you reach your goals? So let's say on IU's campus, an obvious resource would be the FASE mentoring program, just helping you overall, like making you focus on your academic success or whatnot, or other resources besides people and like FASE can be other programs on campus. You can yourself, it's kind of weird to say, but you can yourself can be a resource to yourself, or just things along those lines. Next slide.
Okay, so by now, hopefully we have delivered the message across that who you surround yourself can either hinder or support your goals and your values. And it's really important factor, especially when you come into college and you don't have your normal support group from home. So you have to find like new people to hang around and who you socialize with. And this is one of the FASE mentor goals, is to help freshmen achieve short-term and long-term goals through this relationship that we have. And this is how we achieve it, is by maintaining and creating a good relationship. Next slide, please. So here we have some listed some key qualities for a good relationship. Not only for professional relationships, but also can be personal relationships with friends and family members, and even your mentors that you potentially have, or even your professors, the future professors. For instance, we have accountability. Now this can look like day-to-day life, showing up to work on time, having that reliability that your friends have with yourself. Here in the FASE mentor program, it can look like showing up to a scheduled meeting that you have with your mentor. Character is being able to deal with difficult situations. That can look like dealing with a messy fight with a friend, or in the FASE program, it could look like having a conversation about grades and that you need to seek help with, and that can be a difficult conversation because grades it's hard sometimes. Additionally, you have communication. You speak. Everyone speaks to the professors about a topic that they may not understand clearly. Here in the FASE community, it can look like communicating to find a date and a time to set up a meeting. And then we have integrity, where you, as a person, you don't lie to your friends. And then in the FASE community, it's being honest and where we are, where our set goals, so we can move forward, and how to address that to help both parties, so we can help you and you can help us like try to achieve our job. Now, what are some other qualities that you find to be really important in your personal or professional, any type of relationship that you think is a strong quality to have and that you value a lot? Do you guys have any ideas?
Is understanding one? Like you have to understand each other in order to get along?
No, that's a perfect one. Understanding is definitely a key quality to have, because if you don't understand someone, like you said, then you can't really move forward, right?
I can't think of any other. I can't think of any others. I have to be myself.
No worries. Like that was the perfect quality to share. Anyone else?
Javanique, would you like to share about maybe what you value in your relationships with either your friends or your family or your teachers in high school?
I guess mostly I'd go with number 3, like communication, and then understanding.
Yeah, that's a really important one, isn't it?
Definitely. Without communication, you can't get any message across that you want. And so thank you for your qualities that you share that are very important, because they are important. We also added some key qualities that we find are very important within as a mentor and in the FACE community. And one of them is to be able to follow through. And this can look like in the FACE community, basically like following through to your scheduled meeting, or following through with the short-term goals that we have set up. Basically keeping your word to maintain that to maintain and grow a relationship with your mentor. Additionally, we have respect. Respect covers all grounds in relationships, and it is needed in every relationship and how we address one another. And lastly, we have trust that we also think is very important. Within FASE, what is said between you and your mentor, it stays between you and your mentor. They do not have the permission to disclose any information to anyone else to help grow that strong relationship again. Okay, so within FASE, there's abundance of growth opportunities. FASE encourages developing skills through events such as the adequate dinners that we have, the leadership symposium event, even events led by mentors themselves that we think are skills that everyone should keep growing and learning about. Within the FACE program, you have the opportunities for additional help to study abroad. You have those connections to Hudson and Holland and other resources that we can provide to help you grow. The Mentor Apprenticeship Program, or MAP, is one of the growth opportunities in FACE that is run by FACE mentors. So what is MAP? It is actually a 1-credit course run by FACE peer mentors that help aspiring students want to become FACE mentors, or just learn developing skills in general to help them professionally. And what happens is that it's a 1-credit class that happens throughout the semester, and the students work on to develop leadership skills and professional skills that the FACE community really admires, and they spot that, and that's what the FACE community wants in a mentor. So it helps them guide them into that direction that they want to achieve.
Okay, and some different topics that are discussed within the MAP program are mentoring versus coaching. I really like this one specifically because there's a misconception that mentoring is just telling someone what to do. That's not always what it is. It's hearing from a person, it's learning from a person. And then from there, you get to help them find the resources that are needed. You're directing them, helping them navigate IU culture as a whole. And we do, like Olivia was mentioning, we value leadership skills and diversity. You know, obviously we're an LVP DEMA program. Diversity and equity and inclusion are very important values to us. We also have professional development opportunities to help you with your cover letter and your resume, which are foundational pieces and tools that you'll need going forward when you're applying for internships and other job opportunities.
Okay, so weekly MAP sessions, the lessons that are provided that you'll learn is team building, because FACE in general is team building. You're always within a community, even though you do, the mentors and the mentees do work one-on-one with the individual pairs. FACE as a community works together to help ensure everyone reaches their potential and has the opportunity to all these resources that we provide. They provide real life examples that are very common, and when you become a FACE mentor, so you don't come as a mentor and don't know what to do. It helps you have that predisposed information on how to approach common situations such as homesickness or trying to make new friends, because those are very common struggles of freshmen. And additionally, there are constructive feedback when you perform these tasks in front of these FASE mentors. So you can not only just experience how to do it, but also try to improve on how to approach situations. And lastly, they also they also tell you the amount of resource provided in FASE and how to express and know when to express, oh, this resource is good for this person at this time, when they so you know how to approach those situations. So how can I join FASE? To join FASE, simply use the QR code in the bottom left corner and you complete a brief application. Additionally, there's a QR code for the MLC website to further your exploration. And lastly, there's a contact information for emails and phone numbers.
I've also put a link to the requesting your mentor in the chat feature. So if you don't want to use the QR code, you can just use the link. Also, lastly, thank you all for your undivided attention throughout our presentation. I hope you found the presentation helpful and you like to learn more about FASE in general. I personally did not have a mentor, and because I did not know about the whole program, and I wish I would have known about this program, just because how useful I think it is for all the freshmen, and some of the things some of the resources we provide to the freshmen, which could be extremely handy and enhance their freshman experience in terms of academics. Just learning more about Bloomington, the community, IU is a great place, and I'm sure you have fun in your freshman year. Before I open the floor for Q&As, I would like to, as Mr. Smith told me, we should go back to the resources slide, and I have a question for you. What resources, individuals, do you guys think would be important to know as you come to college in your freshman year?
I think that's a great question to kind of go back and reconnect on, because as you're thinking about your college career, your undergraduate experience, there are important resources or individuals that you should start thinking about now going forward. So when you come to campus, you're fully armed and you have all that ammunition at your disposal so that you can be as successful as you want to be. So we want to take some time. What do you think as part of your pre-exploration prior to coming to campus? What are some resources or individuals you think that are important to start connecting with immediately when you come to campus? Let me call on Mercedes. Actually, Mercedes has spoken quite a bit. How about Javanique?
Does Google count?
Google as a resource. And so how would you utilize Google as a resource as part of your transitional experience, helping you to be successful, giving you advice? And see, that's what we want you. Yeah, that's what we want you to start thinking about. That's really important, because when you come to campus, you got to know who are those important individuals or resources that you need to make a connection with for purposes of helping to address any, and it's not always problematic, but any questions that you have, whether it's a challenge that you're encountering or whether it's a direction you want to go. So what are some of those resources or individuals?
So Google might be that starting point, right, Mr. Smith? It's a starting point to find, okay, I know that I'm having a financial aid problem. So you could start with Google to go in and say, okay, Indiana University Financial Aid Office. And then that's going to connect you to the individuals who can help answer that. But yeah, they're part of what we're wanting to accomplish with this series is to give you that jump start so that you know who those resources are. So we've talked in the first session, we talked about academic advisors. Last year, we talked about the Career Development Center. So those might be, Javanique, do you want to add anything from the previous two sessions that you attended? Or anything new?
I would say would like a help, like someone to help be like professors or like a resource.
Yes. Yep. Yep. Professors are very important resources to reach out to very early. Let me tell you something. When I was an undergraduate student, many years ago, not about 1 or 2 years ago, actually, I tell you what, I had initially thought professors were people you reach out to when you get in trouble. They don't like that. Okay. Usually, well, I won't say usually, but many times, there are several students who only reach out to their professors when it's time for final exams or they may be in trouble with their classes. Don't make that mistake. You want to start reaching out to your professors early, starting that relationship. Professors are your friends. They're there to help you and to guide you. And they're not only there as a resource, but say, for instance, as you progress through your undergraduate experience, you may want to rely on a professor for some research opportunities, or you may want to use them for as a recommendation. And if they don't know you, they probably will not be willing to give you a recommendation because you haven't been in their office to visit, or you only visit when you're in air quotes in trouble. So professors, that's a very good response right there.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of Mr. Smith, also when you do have those professors and you are in a huge class, sometimes you feel like, oh, I'm like in a sea full of fish and how am I going to stand out, or they won't even remember me. Well, or you feel like, oh my gosh, they're going to think something of me, or like you just feel shy and kind of can be overwhelming, that anxiety. Something to remind yourself that I've found to be helpful in others is that when you approach your professors and you just say like, oh, hi, thank you, or just to go to their office hours, like try to think like, it's not about me, it's about them. And like, it's like you're approaching them to just say hi, and that they're not going to think anything of you. It's just like you welcoming them and saying hi is for them, and it's not about you. If that makes sense. That's what I found to be a bit helpful when you're approaching professors that you don't know, or you just feel like that anxiety.
I think that's a great
I could
point,
go
Olivia.
off.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so going off what Olivia said, I want to give a personal experience example. In my freshman year, I was in a finite class, which is obviously one of the harder classes as you take in freshman year. So I really wanted to get connected to my professor in case like I need help in future. And finite classes are huge. So we had about 200 kids in our finite class. And after the very first class, there were a bunch of students, I'd say about 7 or 8, and we all started talking to the professor. And thereon, we just connected somehow. Like he would call me out in classes. I would go on talking to him after the class. If I would email him asking about a particular problem or question, he would reply to me faster as compared to other students in the same class. So you get all those perks of reaching out to a professor early. And when I was not happy with my grades or something like that, I would go on and he would give me more better experience as if I were to go like, if I would just meet him once right after the first exam and I'm not happy. So you have to start building on those relationships, as Mr. Smith said, as early as possible. and it really counts. It really makes a big impact if you do so.
Yeah, those are both great points. I was just going to frame it and say that think about what it is that you look forward to and what you want in a relationship, even with it's, if it's with your friends. You don't always want to be in a relationship where people only come to you when you need something or when they need something, right? You want it to be a give and take. You want to be meeting with people and interacting with people in positive ways, as well as seeking out help and support. So when you're able to create those relationships where people know you and know kind of things that you're interested in, they can help really round out that experience, whether it's a class, whether it's a club, or after an extracurricular activity. It just helps to make for a fuller experience.
Do any of the students have any other questions or comments? And this is a great opportunity to ask, because you have other students, and as far as the peer mentors are concerned, there are students who they were at one point in time in the same position, same situation that you are currently confronted with now. They were making their transition, they were excited, and so there may be some questions that you have that would benefit you asking now than as opposed to later. So, and they've been through the experience, so don't be shy. If you have any questions at all, please, this is the time to do it. Ask away.
How do you get a peer mentor? Do they just give you one? Or do you have to apply for one?
There's actually a QR code that we had.
Okay.
Towards the end. We can go back to that real quick, yeah. And you just,
sorry about that.
no worries. And yeah, you just fill out that short application, and they will set you up with someone that has similar interests as you.
Okay, thank you.
I think Lisa put it in the chat, a link in the chat as well.
Okay, let me see. I can't think of another question right now. I don't think so.
I think one important point I would like the mentors to also discuss is, and Livia kind of touched upon it. Actually, she spoke on it very well. When it comes to developing those relationships, that's the keys to the relationships. That's really important. Sometimes proteges go into a peer mentoring situation thinking that it's all on the mentor. But also, it's really important to understand that you as the protege, as the student, also have an important responsibility. So think about this. If you had a mentor who said they're going to meet with you, say next week at a certain time, and they didn't show up, what would you think of that individual? And they did that consistently. So you're going to make an appointment. You need to discuss some goals. You have some other questions or some areas you'd like to address. And every time you ask that mentor to show up, or let's think about it as in this respect, what about a faculty member? So the faculty member posts their office hours on the syllabus, but whenever you go and try to access the professor through their office hours, they're never there. So what would go through your mind, you think?
Oh, probably disappointment. Or I wouldn't get mad. Yeah, just more so disappointed. Especially if I was looking forward to it.
So the lesson there, the point to walk away with is, when you set an appointment with a professor or your academic advisor, if you can't make it, that's fine, but you need to be proactive and inform them that you'd like to postpone and change the appointment. So as far as establishing relationships, it goes both ways, because you want a mentor that's going to be there for you, that's going to be responsible, that's going to follow up, follow through. If I'm a student and I ask Anuj, hey Anuj, I need to meet with you at this point in time. I want to schedule an appointment with you for your office hours. And by the way, our mentors do have office hours that you can schedule with them. And yet, if you schedule an appointment and they're not there, that's not a good thing. Okay. Number one, they're gonna have a problem with me. but more importantly, we talk about trust, and that really kind of erodes the trust potentially that you can have in a person. So kind of keep those things in mind. I mean, when you come to IU, it's designed to help you to be as successful as possible and to help you to achieve your best work. But it's a two-way interaction there.
Maybe we could ask the mentors, what is your favorite part about being a mentor?
That's a good question.
Yeah, my favorite part about being a mentor is actually the diversity of like students that I get that need help. It not only it opens my mind a lot, but it also makes me rethink what I have to say. Because sometimes they pair you with similar majors, or sometimes they don't. And when you don't get someone that's from a similar major, you kind of have to think from a different perspective on how to approach certain problems. So it makes you really think more critically at times. It uses your brain for sure. And it just develops you, like all your leadership skills and you as a person professionally, so much, like exponentially. So it's one of the, like I said, if I could do this all over again, I would have been here for 4 years.
To add on to Olivia's point, I would also mention about all the growth and growth opportunities FASE have provided me. Within just the first year I've been with FASE, I've gotten the opportunity to attend various seminars. For the first one being the IUPUI symposium, which was like a one-day seminar, and we all got like training how to be a better mentors, how to approach your mentees, what type of questions need to be asked, and how to actually make an impact with your mentees. Along with that, there have been other events such as the etiquette dinner, which is like a super fun event where we all got together and we were in a 5 or 6 course meal, and one of the professional was actually telling us how it would be like professional to eat our meals. And just these random things along with like important professional things have made me grow so much. I had to present a lot of times there, and I personally had a stage fear, like just presenting in front of a lot of people. And I think just being part of FASE in a year, I've able to accomplish those fears and just grow as an individual, which I think is tremendous.
Yeah, to add on to what they have said, I would say what I really love about FASE is that, similar to what Olivia mentioned about like meeting so many different people from different backgrounds and different interests, but that it's been honestly very fulfilling and very humbling. It doesn't, like, even though it's considered a job, it never feels like work. Every time like all of the mentors get together for like meetings or events, like it's always really fun, and not just fun, but like they're actually being able to make a difference in someone's life. Similar to Anuj, I didn't have a mentor my first year of college, which I did. Now knowing that FASE exists, I would recommend it to anyone in a heartbeat. But being able to alleviate some stress and some pain that I've gone through, like being a first generation college student, to others has been really fulfilling. That like the way that I've struggled in finance, someone else doesn't have to, because I could like offer up resources, or the way that, you know, different other experiences, maybe with like roommates or classmates or group group work troubles, because you're going to get a lot of group projects, and sometimes it's kind of hard delegating those tasks and still getting the job done responsibly, but also, like, I guess professionally. Some people, you know, they just want to throw all the work on one person. So it's definitely been a learning curve, but overall, I've loved how FACE has given me an opportunity to alleviate other people's stresses and to just like inspire hope that, you know, even when people are down and out or stressed about midterms or finals or papers, or they're just like, this is so much more work than I'm used to, just like encouraging them, like, hey, like, this is a learning curve. Like, you're going to get through this. Like, this is like, maybe like this bad grade on a paper isn't the end of it. It's not going to ruin your college journey or your career. So just being able to help keep that hope alive in people has been really a great opportunity.
Tying along with what Tatiana just said, my favorite thing about FACE so far has been seeing that firsthand impact you can make on your proteges, and especially for those where you meet with them and your relationship grows over the semester or the year, seeing that growth they have from when you first met to the end. It's like Tatiana said, it's really fulfilling knowing like you're making the impact on them, and just overall, like, it's very humbling. Yeah.
Thank you all for sharing. Those are really great responses. And one of the things or themes that I kind of heard throughout wasn't explicitly stated, I don't think, but we all kind of fear and are, you know, we're afraid of putting ourselves out there 100% sometimes. And so having a mentor or being a protege is a great opportunity to, as Mr. Smith said, you know, once you have that trust built, a great opportunity to kind of see what other people's experiences are, to learn from one another, and to know that you're not alone. We all have this imposter syndrome that we suffer from time to time. And so by having people who have been through the process, that's a really great opportunity for you to learn from those experiences, and to learn that, one, you're not alone, and to find ways that other people have successfully navigated. So so it's a big, important job to be a mentor. So kudos to all of you for stepping into those roles and playing that important part for others. Javanique, Mercedes, are you interested in being a protege or eventually being a mentor one day?
I'm probably gonna be a protege because I'm gonna need someone to help me transition to college, and I'm usually not one for big groups. So yeah, and my roommate can't come now. It's gonna, like, we're gonna help each other, but now she can't come, so I'm probably gonna need someone who at least knows it, because I wasn't able to visit IU either because of the pandemic, so I don't know anything about it, if that makes sense. I have absolutely no idea where any of the buildings are.
Yeah, that's totally normal. You're not going to be the only one. And so through the 21st Century Scholars Program, through FASE, and through all of the diversity, equity, and multicultural affairs programs, our whole goal is to help you all transition, to make sure that you have access to those resources. So the people that you meet through this program for the Summer Learning Institute, look at them as resources and people who are happy to hear from you, either email or phone call. If we're on campus, you know, we're happy to meet up and help walk you through whatever resources you're needing to access.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And I see, Javanique, you said you might look into becoming a mentor, so that's really great.
Mercedes or Javanique, have you guys had a mentor relationship before, prior? Or is this like a completely new experience for you guys, or option?
I've had a mentor before, but this was in middle school, and she forgot to pick me up from school one day, and then after that, I've never had a mentor again.
Oh.
It's not funny, Shanti. Sorry.
So yeah, you just brought up a good point though of the qualities that we talked about: accountability and communication. So I'm sorry that happened to you, because
No,
that
it's okay.
is not the kind of mentorship that we will have, like this program is about at all. So thank you for actually taking this and having giving mentorship a second chance after that terrible experience.
Mr. Smith, would you like to talk a little bit about maybe mentorship beyond the undergraduate career? Because mentoring can take many forms. And so it's not just between your, a mentor in your undergraduate program, but there are different kinds of mentors. Do you have anything you wanted to share about that?
Sure. Yeah. So when it comes to mentoring, there are two primary forms. You have the formal mentoring components, and you have informal mentoring components. So FASE is more formal just from the standpoint of how it's structured, but informal mentoring can take place in many forms. Perhaps you establish a relationship with a professor, and that professor maintain contact throughout your undergraduate career, but also beyond your undergraduate career. Once you graduate, you continue to stay in contact with that individual. A mentor could be perhaps a FASE mentor, but once you graduate, you two continue to stay in contact, because mentoring is actually a lifelong endeavor. And so I would say that mentoring, when you select a mentor, it should be someone who's experienced, who has the background and knowledge that you need, that's going to help you to progress in your life, in your career, or whatever other endeavor that you might be pursuing. But it's not just, it doesn't have to be like a 1 year, one-time occurrence. You're always going to need a mentor. You're always going to benefit from having mentoring. Or someone in your life who can give you, or that you can capitalize upon their life experiences and their know-how to help improve your own circumstances. So now, was that kind of where you were going, Julia, or you were thinking of something a little bit different?
Yeah, no, that was definitely it. Just realizing that it is a lifelong process, and that you're going to have multiple mentors throughout your life. And as you pointed out, Mr. Smith, both formal and informal. And those mentors, I really enjoyed the activity of thinking about our Fave 5, our 5 Fave. And that 5 is going to change as you go through different stages in your life. And that's okay. To some of that, those folks may stay the same. You might have a family member or friends, close friends that are part of that. But as you get into your careers and different jobs, those people will come and go. And so just important to remember that that you're evolving as a person, and those relationships are going to evolve.
Right. That's a very good point. And I'm going to say the same thing Julia says, except I'm not going to be as nice. And I'm sure Julia will talk to me after. Patrick, you should have said that. However, you might have to remove some people from your Fave 5 or from your top 10, because you have to think about what your values are and what your goals are. And if the individuals that you associate with, if their goals and objectives do not align with your own, in other words, if they're going to take you away from what you're aspiring to achieve, you might have to kind of remove them from your 5, because they're working counter to what you're trying to accomplish. And that's not to say you think you're better than them. It's just something, it's a circumstance where you made a decision that this relationship isn't best for what I need at this juncture in my life. I am trying to move forward, move ahead. And you may see that. And some of you you may experience that. You may go back, here it is, you're coming to IU, you're going to be attending this university for specific purposes, reasons, goals, objectives. You're going to be growing in ways that perhaps friends back home are not growing. And they're going to see that growth in you. And they may, be quite honest and frank with you, they may get jealous, okay? And they may start saying things like, oh, you think you're better than me because you're at IU, or you think you're hot stuff because, you're in college. But that has nothing to do with it. You don't have to change who you are, to accommodate others, but you do have to be mindful of where you're going in your life. And if you're going in opposite directions, well, you're kind of the same person, but you're just growing in different ways. And even if you do turn out to be a very different individual, that's a great thing. So, you may experience that in your life, or as you experience your, undergraduate growth and development. But keep that in mind, because you may encounter that. And I don't know.
Agree.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Julia.
I was just saying, I certainly agree. It's important to keep hold of your values and those goals, to keep those, not that you need to discard people, but that, what your focus needs to be on is how those goals and values are maintained. And those can change as well. Like Mr. Smith said, it's okay for you to be a completely different person, but the ultimate goal should be to be your best self. And so what that looks like, you have to determine for yourself, and what those goals and values are going to be for your life.
So, Javanique, Mercedes, if you have any other questions or comments, please feel free. If not, we know that you have other activities and you have other things you may need to get involved in. So if you don't have any other comments or questions, or if the mentors do not, I'll go ahead and let Anuj end the program. And we just want to thank you very much for being a part of it. And we really do hope we will see you in the fall. We certainly hope that you join the program. If you have any questions, Julia, Lisa, Mr. Isom, any of them can give you the information that you need to become a part of the program.
Oh wait, what's the next meeting for this? Cause I miss all of that.
It's all right. Oh, so yeah, our next meeting is going to be on Thursday. It's going to be our tutoring session. So we're going to have our last math tutoring session. It's going to be the same time, 2 to 4 p.m. and the same Zoom link. But Lisa will send out an update for that, I think, tomorrow. So we'll make sure that you've got that.
This math tutoring for what?
I'm sorry?
Wait, why is there math tutoring?
It's not for a grade or anything like that. That's just to help give you some tips and tools on tutoring that will just keep you that one step ahead of folks when you come to campus in the fall.
Okay.
Tutoring should not be looked at as a negative thing. Tutoring is something that's really there to support you and your growth.
Ooh. I'll send my email here. Wait. When people at IU ask for my email, they mean my student email, right?
So I think you should get into the habit of using your student email, but you can send either one.
Edu. Wait, I'm typing it. Sorry. Okay. There it is.
Got it. Thank you, Mercedes. This is Lisa. Thanks.
Okay, no problem. I think that's all the questions I have. But I'm glad I finally made one of these and I wasn't late.
Oh, it's all right. That's all right. We're happy to have you join us.
Okay. Thank you. I have to go now. Bye.
Okay, take care, Mercedes.
Bye-bye.
Mercedes.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and just formally end it. We just all, I just want to make sure I was still, okay, yeah, so I'll go ahead and formally end it. I just want to say on behalf of everyone, we really thank you all for participating in this program. Wish you the best in your future careers here at IU. Again, I want to say thank you to Julia and Vince and Lisa for allowing us to host a virtual session. This was great. And this gives us lots to work on going on from here, because from here on out, I think we're going to be operating virtually in many respects. So, but thank you very much, Julia, seriously. And I want to thank my peer mentors, Tatiana, Olivia, Jasmine, and Anuj for participating and assisting in bringing this presentation to you. So without any other questions, we'll go ahead and end it now. Julia, did you want to have one last say? And
just wanted to say a big thank you to you, Mr. Smith, to your peer mentors. You all did a fantastic job. We appreciate your expertise and your time. And we will certainly direct students your way when they come to us with any questions or concerns. And so, yeah, we appreciate you, and we look forward to engaging with you in the fall.
okay, well, thank you very much. And if I can have my